Hello and thank you for watching the Binge List, in which I solve the problem of what to watch by sharing recommendations of films and shows that I've enjoyed on streaming platforms available on Tata Sky Binge. My first pick is One Night in Miami on Amazon Prime Video. The film is a frontrunner in the Hollywood awards season. It's got 3 Golden Globe nominations, including one for debutante director Regina King, who is already an Oscar-winning actor. One Night in Miami is likely to be a leading contender in the Oscar race. The film, based on a play by Kemp Powers, is inspired by true events, but it's an extensively fictionalized account of a meeting between civil rights activist Malcolm X, boxer Cassius Clay, who would soon be rechristened Muhammad Ali, pop star Sam Cooke, and football star Jim Brown. The film imagines that these 4 black icons, who were friends in real life, met in a Miami motel in February 1964 after Ali's historic win over Sonny Liston, which made him heavyweight champion of the world. But what is meant to be a fun after-party turns into a searing exploration of racism, black rights, celebrity, and political action. King and Powers begin by introducing us to each one of the men individually. We understand where each one is before they meet each other. Malcolm X, a persuasive political leader, is in fact facing a crisis. Even as Cassius is moving toward becoming Muslim and joining the Nation of Islam, Malcolm X, who's been instrumental in that journey, is planning to leave. Like Cassius, Sam and Jim are also at the peak of their careers, and yet at every turn they're reminded of their status as second-class citizens in a deeply racist country. At one point, Jim says to Cassius, "We're all just gladiators, Cash, with our rulers sitting up there in this box giving us the thumbs up or the thumbs down." One Night in Miami is dialogue heavy. Most of the action takes place in a hotel room. It's a challenging setup, but King doesn't let the drama dilute. The action is in the words. The 4 passionately parry and thrust. There's high emotion and egos are bruised. At the heart of the film is an argument between Malcolm X and Sam about the responsibility of an artist at a contentious time. Sam, who's perhaps the most financially successful in the group, is using his music to cross over and court white people. Malcolm X argues that in fact he should be using his fame to further the cause of black people. The talkiness of the film works because the actors are stellar. Eli Goree as Clay, Kingsley Ben-Adir as Malcolm X, Leslie Odom Jr. as Cook, and Aldis Hodge as Brown. Ben-Adir is the breakout star. But King doesn't play favorites. She gives each character the space to shine. One Night in Miami is beautifully stitched together. The film combines intelligence with emotional heft. The argument for celebrities using their clout for a social cause resonates strongly with our current times. It's tragic that more than 5 decades later, we're still grappling with the same inequities. You can see the film on Amazon Prime Video. My next pick is Jeetu Joseph's Drishyam on Disney Plus Hotstar. Drishyam 2 premieres this week on Amazon Prime Video. Before you see that, you might want to go back to see where it all began. Drishyam is a skillfully wrought suspense thriller about an ordinary middle-class family living in a village in Kerala. When his daughter Anju inadvertently commits a crime, George Kutty decides to save her at any cost. He concocts a detailed fiction as an alibi. Just like their lead character, Jeetu and co-writer Raju Bongani construct a breathlessly taut screenplay. At every twist, we think the family is doomed, but somehow George Kutty saves the day. The fun here is in watching George outsmart the authorities. We're repeatedly told that George is a 4th grade dropout. In fact, he doesn't even read the newspapers. His source of knowledge is the movies. George is a cable operator and he spends most of his working day watching films in his office. He dreams of someday owning a theatre. George goes up against formidable opponents, including the IG of police whose son has gone missing. Of course, they underestimate him. George is keenly observant, insightful, and street smart, and it's thrilling to watch him stay one step ahead. He's an Aam Aadmi, but under extraordinary circumstances, he becomes a hero. Malayalam superstar Mohanlal plays George with exquisite finesse. There is no swagger here, just authority and a patina of stoic wisdom. Jeetu uses the actor's eyes to great effect. George is like an impenetrable wall, and even in the face of disaster, he doesn't panic. You remember that famous line from Martin Scorsese's The Irishman, "It is what it is." George is essentially the grand master of that sentiment. He sees human beings and circumstances for what they are, with clarity and without drama. Drishyam was translated into 4 Indian languages and even got Chinese and Sinhalese versions. You might have seen the 2015 Hindi remake with Ajay Devgan, but that film, in which the story was transplanted to Goa, didn't feel rooted or authentic in the way the original Malayalam one does. You can watch it on Disney Plus Hotstar. My third pick this week is a black and white classic, Satyajit Ray's Nayak, available on ZEE5. Nayak was made in 1966. 5 decades later, it's aged like fine wine. Ray's insights into cinema, stardom, our relationship with actors, and the persistent struggle between commerce and art and movie making seem even more relevant. The film, which is almost entirely set on a train, also rekindled in me the romance of train journeys. The shifting landscape, the kullhad ki chai, and the fleeting intimacy with strangers who are packed into the same bogie. Nayak is about a film star, Arindam Mukherjee, who's enjoying the heady success that comes with a string of hits. He's invited to New Delhi to receive a prestigious award. He can't get a flight ticket, so he decides to take a train. He's forced to share a coupe, but his plan is to take a pill and sleep it off until the destination arrives. Arindam's fellow passengers are mostly thrilled to have his company. Even off-screen, he's a charmer, obliging fans with good humor. But underneath the dazzling smile and suave manner is a man racked by insecurity and loneliness. Arindam is keenly aware of both, how short-lived this flush of good fortune is and the compromises he's made to achieve it, which include giving up his first love, theatre. Arindam unveils his inner demons to Aditi, who's the editor of a women's magazine. Unlike most of the other passengers, Aditi isn't instantly enamored by her famous passenger. In fact, she's quite disdainful of commercial cinema. But hoping to increase the circulation of her magazine, she asks Arindam for an interview. He agrees. And as the journey progresses, he finds himself unburdening himself in ways he hadn't imagined. At one point, he tells Aditi, "It isn't good for us to talk too much. We live in a world of shadows, so it's best not to show the public too much of our flesh and blood." In Nayak, Ray creates a haunting close-up of celebrity in our country. The script, also written by him, is a masterful weaving of flashback, dream sequences, and multiple storylines. Ray doesn't ignore the other passengers on the train. They might get less footage, but each one is crafted with enough detail to give us a sense of who they are. Bengali superstar Uttam Kumar as Arindam and Sharmila Tagore as Aditi are both superb. Wearing a suit and dark glasses, he's every inch the dazzling screen god. But over the course of the film, he becomes human, and she radiates intelligence and elegance. I know that every week brings a flood of new content, and you might wonder what's the point of going back in time? Because films like Nayak constitute the gold standard of Indian cinema. And now it's available with a click of a button in your home. Don't miss it. And my discovery of the week is Rangeela on Eros Now. Last year, the film celebrated its 25th anniversary, but the story of the aspiring actress Millie and the lovable Tapori Munna is still exuberantly fresh, especially the unforgettable soundtrack by A.R. Rahman. Director Ram Gopal Varma created a sparkling love story and a heartfelt love letter to the magic of the movies. Rangeela always puts a smile on my face and a spring in my step. Honestly, what's not to love? That's all for this week. You can watch all these shows and movies with the Tata Sky Binge subscription. To know more, search for Tata Sky Binge or click on the link in the description below.